So meditation is the fourth way. And then, as I mentioned just now, when we attain meditative absorption, when you are successful in our meditation, we are most likely reborn in heaven. Depending on the level of our meditation, we'll go to different levels of heaven. Now, even though the heavens are so blissful, the Buddha said the highest happiness or the highest bliss is Nibbana. Nibbanang paramang sukham. Now what is Nibbana? A lot of our Buddhists, we don't know exactly what is Nibbana. So when Christians come to argue with us, what is your Nibbana? Nibbana is nothing. So you don't know how to answer. That's enough. So we must understand what is Nibbana. To understand Nibbana, you must understand that this world is created by consciousness. We know this world exists because of seeing, hearing, smelling and tasting. Yeah? You can see this world around you, so you say it must be real. You can hear the sounds of the world, you can smell, you can taste, you can touch. You think this is solid, how can this not be real? Yeah? So these five senses create the external world, and the mind creates the internal world. Now a lot of people think that our eye sees the world. It's not actually our eye that sees the world. Because if you think that it's your eye that sees the world, suppose, imagine, do a quick operation on you, take out your two eyes and put on the table and ask your eyes to see the world. Can you see? Cannot, isn't it? Whereas at night when you go to sleep and you start dreaming, you see another world and it's so real to you. Yeah? At that time your eyes are closed, you're not using your eyes, and yet you see another world. Yeah? So that is because of consciousness working. That is why the Buddha taught that the whole world is created by consciousness. The sixth consciousness. So when the sixth consciousness stops, that is Nibbana. Now, when the sixth consciousness stops, it means you have no feeling, you have no perception. And yet how come the Buddha says Nibbana is the highest bliss, the highest happiness? To understand this, we think about sleep. When we go to sleep at night, there are two types of sleep. The dreaming state and the dreamless state. Scientists have a name for it. So the dreaming state is not so blissful because sometimes when you start to dream, you are very frightened, yes or not? You might be chased by a ghost or something, or somebody is about to murder you or something, so you get very frightened. So it's not a very blissful sleep. On the other hand, this dreamless sleep is very deep. It's so deep that you don't know anything. You don't even know that you exist. Sometimes somebody in the house asks you to wake up, call you or so, you don't know. Yeah? Because you're so sound asleep. Even to the extent, if you sleep in an old rest house or something, the ghost might pull you down from the bed, so you don't know. That's enough. Because of such a deep state. So because in that state, you don't know of anything, you don't even know that you exist. That's why it's so blissful. When we have a body and we have a mind, that is the arising of dukkha. So in that deep sleep state, you have no self, no mind, no body, you're not aware. That's why it's so blissful. That's why the Buddha says Nibbana is the highest bliss. So these are the 5 steps to happiness. First one is contentment. Second one, prevent unhappiness from arising by keeping moral conduct, precepts. Third one is to give happiness to others by doing dana, understanding the law of karma vipaka. If we give happiness to others, we will get back happiness. The fourth now is to overcome the 5 hindrances which give us mental suffering by meditation, samatha meditation, disciplining the mind until the mind is a source of happiness rather than a source of unhappiness. So that's the 4th. The 5th is to try to achieve Nibbana by practicing the Buddha's way, the Noble Eightfold Path. Okay. Now these 5 steps to happiness, anybody practicing them? Think about it. Who is practicing these 5 steps to happiness? The monk. Now people think the monk's life has a lot of dukkha. Actually, he is cultivating the way to happiness. Right? Practicing all these things. The monk's life, a lot of people, lay people, they dare not take the plunge to become a monk or a nun. Why? Because they think a lot of suffering. In a way it's true. But then the beginning only is suffering. Towards the end is sweet. What we Hokkiens call Thao Kho Boi Ti. But the lay life, you look for happiness immediately, you want happiness immediately. So, Thao Ti Boi Kho. That's enough. Also, just now I mentioned life is a gamble. Everything you do is a gamble. Choosing a partner is a gamble. Choosing a job is a gamble. But because you want to seek happiness, you sometimes take the gamble. Right? Some people, even to the extent of migrating overseas, take that gamble. Pull out all your roots to go overseas. That's a hard decision to make. You take it because you think it's worth the gamble. So actually monks also take a gamble, When we take the plunge to become a monk, we lay down our life. Don't want anymore this lay life. Give it up to become a monk. But lay people dare not take the gamble. So like Hokkien say, monks bot tua. Lay people bot say. That's enough. And you buy eco, you put $1 or $5 or $10, say it's bot say, isn't it? If you know your number going to come out, you put a few hundred ringgit, no money has to borrow, never mind. That's enough. Bot tua. That's enough. So monks are great gamblers. Bot tua. Yeah. Because we know in the end we'll be happy. According to Buddha's teachings, at the least, if you really practice the holy life, you'll be reborn in heaven. At the most, you can get Nibbana out of samsara. So in a way, I am encouraging you all to become monks and nuns. So we still have vacancy in Timor. Okay. Any more? Any questions?
You only people to write.
Okay, you're saying that those hungry ghosts, they come.
Okay, put this way, we kind of suspect what our close relative is actually keep on coming back to our house visit. You're saying that we should offer food and clothes to them. How should we do it?
People who don't know the Dhamma, sometimes they offer by the roadside. What in Hokkien we call porto. But if we know the Dhamma, we try to offer to a monastery or a nunnery. Why? Because the blessings is multiplied. If we give a bowl of rice to a ghost by the roadside, that ghost will only get one bowl of rice. If you give one bowl of rice to the monk, and then you transfer the merit to the ghost may get 1,000 bowls of rice. That's why people like to offer to monks and nuns. You can offer also, if you don't have the opportunity, you can offer to an old folks' home or orphanage, transfer the merit. Most important two things for a ghost we need is food and clothing.
One day do they really eat the food offered?
You see, everything is mind created. And firstly, they come back to the relative because he or she believes that only the relative will want to help. So that's why it comes back. Now, I've read that doctors have done experiments using hypnosis where they put a person to sleep and then he tells that person, I'm going to touch your hand with a red hot piece of metal. Then use a pencil and touch the hand and then the hand gets burned. Why? Because that person actually believes it's a red hot piece of metal. So that's why mind is so important. So because that being is waiting for this food offering, when you say you transfer it to that person actually sees. That's why people always think of ghosts. They go everywhere so they see ghosts. Isn't it? People don't think of ghosts, they know anywhere they don't see ghosts. That's why it's very important to be happy. If we are happy, we have less sickness. A lot of sickness is mind-made. So we are depressed, we are unhappy, and then we become sick. But to get happiness, to have this happy feeling, you have to work for it. Things don't come by themselves. Nothing is free in this world. You have to work for it.
When you say the ghosts need clothes and food, does it mean that they assume the body that they have before? And they have feeling?
All beings have a body. It's just that we cannot see a ghost body. But dogs maybe can see, that's why they howl at night. Yeah. So according to the Buddha's teachings, you cannot have consciousness without a body. Some people think, oh, I pray to Kuan Yin. Kuan Yin is forever chirchai, they say forever happy. There's no such being who has eternal life and forever happy. As long as you have a body, your life is limited. As long as you have a body or a mind, you will suffer. So, ghosts have a body, and the body, because of their previous life, if you look at the ghost face, probably might resemble the human face that that person had before. For example, a few years ago, about 4 years ago, my old friend in Kuantan, he phoned me up. He said the mother just passed away and they kept the body for a few days. After that, they buried the mother. After 2 days, the mother entered the sister's body and came back to the house, entered the sister's body and spoke to my friend. And he told my friend, he said, I have something very important to talk to you. That's why I come back to talk to you. And then I have to use your sister's body. I'm very sorry for her. I know it makes her very tired, but I have no choice. I have to speak now. Later, I don't have the opportunity to speak. Then she said she's suffering a lot. She's hungry. And she comes back to her house also, her own house. She says she cannot enter. That means the Deji Gong blocked her. Formerly she's the owner of the house. Now she's a ghost. No more recognized as the owner. So the Deji Gong prevent her from entering the house. So that's why she had to enter the daughter's body and talk to my friend. So my friend, being not a very knowledgeable Buddhist, told the mother, Mo Pin. told the mother, where is bright, you go lah. Where is dark, don't go lah. Then the mother must have thought, this son cannot help me at all, and left her. So I thought to myself, a ghost comes out at night, everywhere is dark, isn't it? Where got bright place for the ghost to go? And then my friend told me, when the sister to the mother talked, the voice sounded exactly like the mother, and the way the mouth moved also exactly like the mother. So you see, our DNA program carry on to the next life.
And then you mean that ghost only comes out at night?
You know, like animals, usually they come out at night. But if they are very hungry, sometimes the snake also comes out in the daytime. Yeah? So normally ghosts will come out at night, but it's very desperate, sometimes daytime also they come.
One thing, when we talk about ghosts, that one is referred to the hungry ghost, right?
Actually, ghosts also have many types of ghosts. And from what we hear, what we read, because nowadays ghosts can be photographed, what they call infrared photography. And when they photograph ghosts, they see the ghosts are quite like human beings. They have a human form, they wear clothes. The only difference is you don't see the feet touching the ground. So people, maybe due to imagination, they talk about hungry ghosts and all that. I suppose there's another type. Another type. There's another type of ghost with long teeth. Two long teeth. Two persons have told me about this. There is a ghost story. Many years ago, when I was staying in Penang Hill, in a cave alone, 3 people who were practicing TM, Transcendental Meditation, came to visit me. One was a Malay and 2 Chinese. This Malay actually was the teacher of this TM, and because he married a Chinese, he was a bit different. So they heard that I was staying alone there, so they came to visit me. So I started talking with them. Then I said, I thought I want to maybe let them know a little bit about Dhamma. I said, Buddha taught a lot of things that other religions didn't teach. He said there are a lot of unseen beings around, like tree spirits, ghosts and all that. So I asked them, do you all believe? Then the Malay man said, yes, I believe. I thought very strange, how come he said he believed? Then I asked him, what, you have any experience? He said, yes. I said, one night when he was driving back alone in Batu Maung, Penang, on the road, about 12 or 1 o'clock at night, the road was lonely. Then he saw one lady walking alone in white on the road, walking alone. Then he thought very strange, how come one lady walking alone wearing white? Then he remembered, people say this road sometimes haunted. Then again he remembered, people said, if you see a ghost and the feet is not touching the ground. So he decided to drive slowly. So when he came near, actually the feet was not touching the ground. Then the ghost turned around and looked at him. Then he saw 2 long teeth protruding here. He got so frightened, I drove home. I said his legs couldn't stop shaking for 45 minutes. So that was the first person who told me about this type of ghost. And the other person who told me was an old man. He said his auntie had a very nasty temper. And then always getting angry, and sometimes in a frenzy. So the children, I suppose, found it very difficult to look after her and sent her to a nursing home. Even in the nursing home also, she'd get into these tantrums, rage tantrums. So one day she got into this rage tantrum, and the doctor phoned the children to come. And the doctor gave her injection, she fell asleep. So the 3 children came in 3 different cars. So this old man who told me, he said he happened to drive past that nursing home, and he saw his cousin's 3 cars there. He thought maybe something happened to the auntie, maybe died or what. So he stopped his car, he went in. He said there were about 6 of them in the room. When he saw the auntie, he got a shock. Auntie was sleeping, but 2 long teeth came out. They tried to cover the teeth, also couldn't cover. So they could see these 2 long teeth for 2 days. And after 2 days, the auntie died. When the auntie died, the teeth disappeared. What does it mean? It means that she had already turned into that type of ghost. I would say this is not a hungry ghost, it's a fierce ghost.
Until last time,
When they think like that, right, do they actually harm people when they are in that dream?
I suppose they harm each other. You know, somebody asked me last night, what's the point of keeping sila and all that? Suppose now I don't keep sila. Next life I'm reborn as a dog. When I'm reborn as a dog, I don't know. Previously I was so and so. I told him, don't be so sure. Then I quoted the case of this, my friend in Kuantan, the mother who passed away. So she said she has to speak now, because later she would not have the chance to speak. Because I think when the person is reborn as a ghost, immediately that person remembers the previous life. But after that, she might be pulled away to be some wife or some other ghost or mistress, or get beaten and get all this thing. She gets all excited and caught up in the ghost world. And slowly, a memory of this previous life may fade away. Unless her karma is not so bad, she comes back to the house and she can stay in that house all the time, then not disturbed by other ghosts. Maybe she can still stay with the family. Just like some children, when they are reborn, they remember their previous life. They keep telling the parents they want to go back to their house, previous house. And then when the parents bring them back, they can recognize their previous life relatives. But usually after the age of school going, that means in Malaysia about 7, and they go to school and they start making new friends, they have new interests, and they get involved in all the children's life, and then they start to forget their previous life. So like beings in hell also, the Buddha said, if a being is reborn in hell and is suffering, that being knows exactly why that being is now in hell. So this past life memory, although now we say you can't remember our past life, but it's not very far from our memory. That's why some people bring you up to a very high building and you look down, legs all get soft, yes or not? You get so scared. Why? Probably previous life you must have fallen down. Some people, you ask them to slaughter a chicken, also they dare not slaughter. Maybe previous life they did some killing and then they had to suffer. Some people, you give them the opportunity to commit adultery, also they dare not commit adultery because probably previous life they have suffered for it. Yeah? Some people, you ask them to marry, also they don't want to marry because previous life they suffered from marriage.